I've seen a crazy graph documenting support of the average American for Black Lives Matter, and it spiked up like crazy during the George Floyd shit and then plummeted lower than it was in the first place. So I feel like in some ways it was like an extreme overcorrection that for the average American didn't really take in the long run.
I think the pendulum, swung, but then the problem is it goes, the further it swings this way, the further it kind of like goes back, and hopefully it ends up in the fucking middle. Shit's coming out now. It's like, okay, BLM is, they were fucking funneling money. They're fucking taking advantage of this, taking advantage of that. It's like, the time, it's one of the things that I learned early on is I would make judgments based on people before I met them or before I had the full story. And now it's like, I wait, because you read the headline like, oh, this fucking unarmed, guy got shot in the fucking back by this cop or whatever. And then I would literally watch like the whole 50-minute fucking arrest thing. And it's like, the guy was fucking asleep in the drive-through line, hammered drunk. The cop was actually like pretty nice to him. He's like, hey, like, you pull over here. The guy fucking like jumps the fucking curb, ends up in the fucking grass, can't even park the car. Clearly fucked up, doesn't know what city he's in, you know what I mean? Like lying about saying he only had one drink, and he said he had 1.5 drinks, couldn't remember what drinks he had. It was just like, the guy's clearly fucked up, right? Cop has him do the sobriety test. It was this whole like drawn out crazy thing. I feel like if it was me, I would have been arrested first fucking 10 minutes. But whatever, the guy like ends up going for the fucking cop's gun, grabs his taser, shoots the cop with his own taser, and then the cop shoots him or whatever. I'm just like, to me, I'm like, okay, if I fucking attack a cop, if I go for his fucking gun and I get shot, like I'm not gonna be fucking crying about it, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna be like, oh, the guy had a fucking raw deal. It's like, well, I probably wouldn't fucking attack a cop when I'm fucking,
But when you want to look at why the average American doesn't trust mainstream media, it's stuff like that, where they're sort of sold on an idea of it that later gets corrected. And realistically, the only people who are correcting the record on something like that are usually people who are more on the right side of the media. And so then they end up not believing anything CNN says at a certain point,
Yeah, it's a weird thing. I would say I was more liberal than conservative. I mean, in almost everything. I mean, fucking smoke weed. I don't really believe, I believe in less laws. I think, people should have more freedoms. I mean, all this stuff. But it just seems like, man, the left just really like lost their fucking mind. They kind of just like went so far that it's almost like, I don't know, growing up, I never would have thought that I would like consider myself conservative.
Right.
Because I look at conservative, like that's like my fucking, like fucking grandfather. Like that was just never my views. But it's like, now it's like almost like it's just like, they're the logical ones, and then these other people are just these emotionally fueled fucking nuts,
The Republicans becoming the party of like free speech and being more, I don't want to say being more open-minded, but like they've done a very good job of branding themselves at that.
Yeah, well, but that's the thing is like the Democrats are like, all about acceptance and, your body, your choice, and all, they say all these things, but then it's like, okay, when the fucking vaccine came out, now it's not your body, your choice. It's like, okay, like, are you about acceptance and fucking, freedom of belief? Or is it like everything that doesn't go along with what you fucking believe gets censored? You know what I mean? It's like they're saying one thing and then doing another. So I think people are seeing the hypocrisy, and that's really what's kind of like, I think that's what's shifting it back, is people are just seeing that, it's clear hypocrisy. They're not practicing what they preach.
But there's a few things that I can't get past. Like I can't get past them trying to make abortion illegal. I can't get past the fact that Trump clearly said that he wouldn't submit to a peaceful transfer of power if he lost the election, and all the efforts to overturn the election and stuff. It's like, even though the Republican thing seems a little appealing to me at times, there's like a bunch of issues that I have a hard time getting past,
Yeah, I mean, I think, a woman should be able to decide if she wants to have a kid or not, and not be like saddled with a kid for the rest of her life. I think the world's fucking overpopulated. I think, all these fucking, people are like, oh my God, it's murder and this and that. It's like, okay, motherfucker, we got 8 billion fucking people. We don't need fucking 9. We don't need 10. Like,
and the problems that we get from people being forced to have kids that they don't really want are probably much more extreme than the problems.
That kid ends up in foster care. He ends up fucking without a dad. It's like, those are the people that have the highest incidence of crime. And, it's like, I don't know, man. I think you're, breeding issues by doing that, by having a mother have a kid that she doesn't fucking want. Like, you shouldn't have a kid unless you're like ready to like care for that fucking child. So it's like, to me, I don't remember anything when I was in the fucking womb. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I got fucking killed and I came back in a fucking another life or whatever the fuck happened, like, whatever. I don't fucking remember it. Just, like a fucking chicken when they fucking, when I eat chicken eggs. Like, I don't think that, you know what I mean? I don't know, man. But listen, I respect everybody's opinion. If somebody, is, super against abortion, okay, fine. But I think, like I said, I think women should have the fucking choice. It's like, you shouldn't be fucking saddled the kid if you don't want it. If you get fucking raped, like there's a lot of, extenuating circumstances, right? Like, and so, but like I said, man, that's my opinion. I could see the other side of that. I don't agree with it. I think women should have the fucking choice, but I could see it. You know what I mean? I could see that argument. That's an example of a rational argument on both sides. Like, okay, these people have their beliefs, whether it's religion or whatever, they think it's a beating heart. It's a human being. I get it. Okay, fine. Let them have the fucking, discussion. I don't really that was never really one I got too caught up in. But man, censorship is one that I'm pretty passionate about. I mean, fuck, man, that's how you had fucking, Hitler's rise to power. I think you take away people's fucking guns. That's how fucking Mao killed so many people in fucking China. That's how Stalin, you know what I mean? You look at these countries where they had these oppressive governments, and what's the first thing they do? They take away your fucking guns. And it's like, your right to bear arms is not about hunting. It's not about really personal protection. It's a defense against tyranny. And I think people think that's crazy, but that's what it's there for, and it's there for a fucking reason. Like, our country was founded on that fucking principle.
But it becomes kind of weird as a person who's completely pro-gun, and I think you should be able to concealed carry you should be able to get a license to concealed carry much easier in California, and I know a shitload of people who are in prison for carrying guns in situations where I think that they should have been able to carry a gun. But then every time there's a mass shooting, 10 people get killed by some white supremacist in Buffalo, and it's like, people want to tell you the policies that you're advocating for are encouraging this behavior. Like, we have to do something to stop this. And I just don't agree that making it harder for civilians to legally carry is the way. I
mean, bro, there's people, you look at all these fucking massively gun controlled cities and none of it fucking works. New York, you look at all the hubs of fucking gun violence, it's all these cities that have these fucking oppressive gun laws, because the only people they're fucking oppressing is the people that are buying the guns legally, which is not the people that are committing the fucking crimes. So you take away the legitimate citizens' ability to protect themselves, and what do? You just give the criminals more fucking power. It doesn't work. It doesn't work in California. My buddy got fucking robbed the other fucking day. My friend got shot, you know what I mean? For a fucking, iPhone, for a fucking, Richard Mill, whatever. It's happening. The crime is fucking rampant, and it's happening in these cities. And it's the gun control laws are not stopping criminals from fucking shooting other people because they're worried about having an unregistered firearm. It doesn't work like that. And so you see it, and it's and then it's okay, 10 people died in mass shooting. Big fucking deal. 150,000 people die every day. Nobody bats a fucking eye. You know what I mean? The fucking news covers something, and it becomes this big fucking deal. But dude, do you know how many people fucking die every day from being hit by fucking cars? You're not gonna make cars illegal. Shit happens, dude. Mosquitoes kill 1 million fucking people a year. Nobody's fucking walking around in mosquito nets, but they're wearing these fucking masks, I don't know. I just see all this crazy shit, and it's
and when you see people just use a mass shooting as their way to try to chip away at gun rights, and now Biden feels like he has to do something. Realistically, as soon as he's out of office, it'll probably get overturned by the next Republican president or whatever. It's this little song and dance that I've pretty much been watching go on my whole life.
Yeah. I mean, it's, it's an opportunity to grab power, and the problem with the government is when they grab power, they never give it back, so... yeah, I don't think it's about those 10 people that fucking died. I mean, it's, it's tragic. Obviously, that's fucking sucks. But, when we went to fucking war and a bunch of my fucking buddies died over there, nobody was fucking crying about that, when we were over there trying to fucking, make money because, they had a bunch of fucking oil, or because we're in, fucking interfering in somebody else's fucking business like we always do. Nobody cares about all those people that fucking die, but it's okay, if a civilian dies in it's just I don't know, man, it's just how they frame it. I don't know, fucking tons of cyclists get fucking hit by cars every day. Nobody gives a shit. It's people just care when the media focuses on it, It's people die all the time, man. That's the fucking world. Everybody's gonna die. You're gonna die. I'm gonna fucking die. The question will win. And so I'm just not gonna live my whole life scared because there's a fucking 0.000% fucking 1% chance that I get fucking shot by a gun. I don't give a fuck.
Hey. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, subscribe. We just hit 200K. We're trying to get to 300K.
Turn us up.
Appreciate y'all.
Let's go.